Hello everyone. Now this video is a little bit more on the different end, so I hope you'll give it a shot. And it's a little bit more on the, I would also want to say, deep dive video documentary style of two major subjects. Number one, as I'm sure you guys have seen, and pretty much the main point of this video, Digital Foundry, a beloved both PlayStation and console, and of course as well PC, kind of like comparison type YouTuber, tech-based if you will, has been under massive scrutiny. I'm talking millions of tweets, I'm talking people on Reddit, I'm talking people subscribing, and the point where people are now officially almost done with this channel, if not fully done. And as well, the big outbreak and discussion of the DLSS 5 that came from Nvidia, and this got pretty juicy. There's a lot of big in-depth conversations I wanted to go and cover throughout this video, so this is almost more of a podcast style. But for me, this was a very important video because there's a lot of stuff to break down and also trying something a little bit differently on the channel itself. So I hope you guys will enjoy. It may not be perfect, and there was a few little technical difficulties, so this might be the last time you guys go and see me ever. That's a lie, but I'm going to try to do a little something different on the editing for this video. But I hope you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy because we put a lot of thought, effort, and, well, it's just, it's a little tea. We like the gossip here, right? We like the gaming gossip. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. I'm going to take the video away, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's go and dive right on into it. Hello everyone and welcome to another brand new video. Now, you guys may or may not have heard the news, but there's the entire gaming sphere is in an uproar these last 24 hours. And this is all due to one of the biggest companies on the entire planet, Nvidia. Now, as you guys probably know, or maybe don't, the big talk of the town for consoles and PCs is all on AI. AI integration, AI upscaling, PSSR 2.0, which we actually made a video on this last night. If you guys want to check it out, I have it linked down below. But when it comes to all this stuff, AI really is the talk of the town. But, of course, not everyone's always fully happy with AI because there's a lot of issues when it comes to creative rights. People don't really like generative AI for, like, movies, music. And while some people are kind of embracing AI, myself included, there's a lot of issues that are still stemming with it. And right now, Digital Foundry, one of the bigger content creators when it comes to YouTube sphere, has been getting a lot of hate. Audience members of their, entire YouTube community are saying that they're done. They're boycotting them. They're very disappointed in how they presented the DLSS update, which if you guys don't know is basically like the, screenshot or preview of the future of gaming as a whole, and will most likely come to consoles in some way, shape, and form of iteration down the line. And, well, people are just not with it. When it comes to AI, when it comes to games looking potentially worse, losing the creative soul of games, and of course, as well, for Digital Foundry for kind of being a massive shill and getting on their knees and, well, saying what Nvidia wants to go in here. Now, we're not going to always 100% agree with some of the people that we're going to be showcasing up over here on Twitter, on these comments, etc. But it is opening up a massive discourse and discussion when it comes to what's too far, is it actually good, is Nvidia ruining gaming, and of course, the integrity when it comes to Digital Foundry. Now, on my own channel, I don't really like to cause beef, and we are going to kind of maybe somewhat overly say stuff or overly call things out, but I want everyone, before we get into the full nitty-gritty of this video, it's more so for fun. We're content creators, we're going to be discussing this, and just bear in mind, we do have critiques, but we're more so holding them to a pretty high standard of accountability, and I think that's a very important thing when it comes to content creators. If you cannot go and accept criticism, or as well, if you mess up and you kind of don't take it properly, which we're going to cover that throughout this video, because it kind of seems like some of the Digital Foundry members are, kind of complaining up on various social medias for the flack and, well, all the negative press they're receiving, which is definitely not good. We're going to break that on down and talk about that. But accountability is very important, and as well, having an open discourse and commentary on this all is also very important here. So, if you guys want to give any of your thoughts, feel free to please go and say it freely down below. And of course, as well, we actually have a special guest on this video too, one of my very good buddies, Killer Cam. I'm going to introduce him over here in a second, but when it comes to this, there is a lot to break on down, so let us know if you guys enjoy these longer videos and more of a deeper dive, because me and him are both very integrated into AI, we're very curious on the future of gaming as a whole, and we'd love to hear all of your thoughts. So very quickly, I would love to go and actually introduce my friend Cam. He's going to have all of his links down below if you guys want to check him out, Twitter, YouTube as well. And of course, I would love to have you go and say hello. So Cam, would you like to go and say hi really quick?
What up? What am I even supposed to say?
I have no idea. I thought I did a pretty good introduction on that one for you.
There's nothing about my background that's really like that AI related, to tell you the truth.
No, I mean, I do think we and you have had some good discussions on it and have a good idea for it too. So just kind of give everyone, I guess, the preemptive thing. He knows the stuff. His channel is a little bit more based as well on the technical end of handheld consoles and devices. So also when it comes to like, I guess the technicalities of gaming as a whole, comparisons and everything, he really is, I think, a good right-hand man for me on this video. So if you guys want to give him some love, it's all linked down below. So I'm going to try to go and start off this video over here because it is a somewhat longer video. And I'm going to go and also showcase everyone over here too. Would love to hear your thoughts as well after I explain this, but if you guys don't know, DLSS just got announced. It's over at the GTC event. I'm kind of giving you guys an AI summary, but it's the idea of a generative AI powered neural rendering aimed at maximizing visual fidelity. And if you guys do or do not know, DLSS has been around for quite some time, many different iterations on PC, and I think I'm going to let Cam go and kind of take this away. On like a broad scale, or even more so on the DLSS 5, what is kind of your take on if this is good or bad for both PC gaming and console gaming as a whole?
Okay, so DLSS, or deep learning super sampling, is pretty much just a AI upscaler. So basically it takes games that run at a lower resolution, makes them look closer to native resolution, and also can sometimes actually make them look better than native resolution, like with DLAA, which is deep level anti-aliasing. So it can replace like TAA, MSAA, any type of anti-aliasing that can look a little blurry sometimes. Basically, if you don't know what anti-aliasing is, it basically just gets rid of jagged edges in games and stuff like that. So it smooths things out, makes it look a little sharper sometimes too. But yeah, it basically conserves like GPU power by using tensor cores on your GPU, which are basically specialized for AI on your local computer. However, I think that they do train the AI through servers, but I believe if I'm not mistaken. Because how else would the AI just automatically know how to upscale it? They probably have to train it somehow. So that's not done locally, of course.
And I think that kind of also stems in the whole PSSR 2.0 update because it is a software update and it was all widespread and it was applicable towards a lot of different other games all at once. So I do kind of agree with you. It most likely is utilized through your PC, like as you're playing the game, the software is running. Think if you're like running Steam, you're running an EA launcher, you're running OBS if you guys record videos, whatever it might be, anti-software. So I think your own PC, once it's already fully fleshed on out and it's on your PC and it's not using a data center, but I would probably agree there's probably some sort of machine learning or data centers themselves introducing it all together. So at the high level, if you guys don't know, it's basically they utilize frames, they try to render it at a lower resolution, and then they upscale it to kind of like take the load off, allow more frames, and basically is like phantom creating frames through utilizing AI software, kind of like filling in the blanks, if you will.
Wait, Luke.
Yes.
That's DLSS 3 that you're talking about.
See, at this point, I wouldn't even know.
DLSS was different. So yeah, the
DLSS,
the original one, which is the one that they keep updating every year, but it's like under a different label. I don't know, man. They made it so confusing when they added DLSS 3.
I do agree.
Because then they added DLSS 3.1, and then they were like, no, that's the upscaler. DLSS 3 is the frame gen. But literally, so there's an upscaler, and then they introduced DLSS 3, which is introducing fake frames, like motion interpolation, which adds latency. So, I mean, AMD copied that with their own frame gen, and that one can run on any GPU. So if you don't have a RTX 4000 plus series card, then you can run AMD frame gen on any game that supports it.
That's actually a good point to throw in. That's a good point to throw in too, because I do believe this DLSS 5, as we even mentioned, is kind of more so trying to focus more on like lighting, which is we're gonna get into throughout this video too.
Is it though?
I think so, technically.
That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying. But, we'll get to that. But yeah, I think this is like, you guys can kind of tell it gets a little bit convoluted in how they label it all. I think I was even talking to Cam about this and I was like, I wish they just call it like Nvidia AI frame gen or something like that, or Nvidia like upscaler. It's like something a little bit more normal, Nvidia gaming, if you will. But as we mentioned, this kind of big announcement for it all that came out as of yesterday is, from what they say, at least online, is using AI to analyze frames, adding realistic dynamic lighting, shadows, and reflections that are consistent across frames. And as well, unlike previous versions, DLSS essentially functions as a real-time AI-driven filter. Notice that filter word, that directly alters the rendered image, enhancing textures, hair, fabric, and skin to look more lifelike. So kind of what Cam was also saying too, in my own correction, is it seems like it's trying to more so focus on lighting, focus more on hair, like in textures, and we'll kind of see this because I'm going to showcase up the Digital Foundry video probably right now in the background, And it kind of just shows like different things from Resident Evil or other various games out there. So I'm gonna start playing that out right now. Now that you guys at least know what this is, because if you guys don't know what this is, it gets a little bit more on the convoluted end. Although we are going to be critiquing Digital Foundry for this video, shout out to Digital Foundry in the first place for making the content as well. So we're going to start playing out this video and somewhat react to it as we're always going to be like, you know, just discuss this whole entire thing. So I want to go and probably ask you a few times throughout this and definitely chime in whenever you want. Do you actually overall think, as we've gone through the video, looked at it before you did it, or watching in real time, do you actually think that DLSS 5 is actually making these games look better? I would love to hear your thoughts.
It depends. I mean, some of the environments do look a bit better, I can't lie. But like, I almost wonder if, you know, if it kind of removes some of the artist's intention, if that makes sense. Especially when it comes to facials. Like, what? Yes.
Because even looking at this right now, so actually I'll give you my quick take too as we kind of let the video play out. I'm actually going to go and disagree with you. This is all opinion, so it doesn't really matter. But I would actually go and say, at least in terms of overall environments, I actually preferred it both in all these games, but as well, especially in Resident Evil. I actually like the environments without DLSS. Now, it's just up to interpretation, your own, like your thoughts, so there's nothing wrong with it. But I kind of feel like someone looking at some of this DLSS on, it made the environments, if you're looking at the stream, it looks more bright, if you will. And like this is like Resident Evil. Yes.
It literally looks like a reshade filter.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And that's what a lot of people online are calling it out, where it just looks like an overall AI slot filter. Because even looking at this
but
face,
at the same time though, like when you add RT lighting to games, it dramatically changes how it looks too. You know, it's almost like a personal preference when it comes to that.
I would agree. So I think that's maybe why this is getting so many polarized takes, because number one, people are very anti-AI as a whole, like generative AI. People are very against that, or even say for environments, etc. So you go and slap on AI anywhere, even if it's been around for many years for gaming, people are going to be skeptical, you know, over time. I personally, if I look at the face, I generally actually don't like it. I think it does look very generic, and I think it does take away a lot of the artistic integrity from the developers. So I guess we kind of have like a different take on it. I'm not against it though. I actually do not. It just kind of swings both ways. Like I guess it would maybe depend on the game. If I didn't know, I probably wouldn't make comments. But there's like a little bit more of like, say, a gray scale, green scale when it comes to specifically Resident Evil. And so anyone who's watching this video now, you guys can kind of see I'm going to move the webcams over so you guys can maybe look at the faces and the environments and such. Let us know what you guys think down below. Do you guys prefer the left or the right, DLSS 5 on or off? And also, as we're actually looking at this right now, Cam, do you have any other, like, I guess, interpretations or thoughts that you're seeing as you see them side to side?
I mean, as I told you earlier, I actually sent this picture. Well, actually, I sent each side individually to one of my friends who's not tapped in with AI, not tapped in with like gaming technology like we are, right? And I asked him which one's better. And he said the AI one was better, but without knowing for sure it was AI, of course. And then asked me after the fact, is it AI? So what that tells me is that it looks way too much like something that you could render in like an AI video production thing.
I think I'd agree on that.
It just looks, something about it just feels really off.
It feels uncanny. It feels like it's trying too hard. And that's what I'm noticing.
It's adding way too much. Like look under her eyes. Like it almost looks like they put on makeup and stuff, like definition.
Yes. And so in case you guys are curious, because we highlighted that the DLSS 5 is kind of more focused on like shading and lighting, I also want you guys to go and look at the hands. Like it's right next to my webcam over here on both hands. And that's a big thing that was kind of pushed out and kind of glazed a lot from the Digital Foundry guys. And I actually don't really think it does look better, but it also still looks uncanny. Same with the face. I will say the one thing that I do think looks a lot better regardless is the hair. Like, would you agree on that? Everything else a little bit like
the hair and like her shirt.
Yes.
Like you can see a lot of the details in the mesh.
Like I see like her shadows too as well, and it does actually make it look more realistic. I would agree on that. And I think as I keep on still looking at this,
they changed way too much about her face. I can't get over that. I'm just keep looking at it.
Yes. And I think a lot of people don't like it
character
because it's like too generative. It's too AI. And I would agree. Like I would say objectively it does look better, but you can say that for a lot of AI images. And that's what a lot of people online are complaining about. It's taken away the soul, the creative freedoms. And we're going to get to that more because Nvidia's even responded to all these critiques. But yeah, I think that is a very genuine concern that I think a lot of people would agree on. It's taking away the heart and the soul of what the game actually is, what games are meant to be. Now, as I mentioned,
go for it. Do you remember when people were complaining about how Aloy looked in Horizon Forbidden West? And
Yeah, I
then they
do.
like did their own little like AI like sexy version
Yeah, she looked
of
better.
her. That's what this reminds me of.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Like it
it's
looks like
like
some degen mod.
yeah, it actually does. It's actually like, and that's what a lot of people are complaining. It looks like it. They're saying it looks like an AI filter, like an Instagram filter. And here's them kind of zooming on the hands. And I do want to say yes, I do agree it looks better, but it does have that AI uncanny feeling. Like it just feels off. Like looking at these all right now, it doesn't feel real. The extra details look great, and maybe we're being overly skeptical. Like to kind of be a little bit more devil's advocate, and I'd actually love to hear your thoughts on this too, is that over time, AI should get better. Like this is the first iteration, the first day. You get that another 5 years or so, and they keep on improving on it all. It should be a lot better. So in theory, it's pretty good for a day one, but that also leads towards, once again, the big AI discussion of, is it going to take away jobs, taking away people in the gaming sphere, taking away from artists, etc. And that does get a little weirder. Now, I do want to maybe highlight this as well as we're playing throughout the video. The DLSS for certain games, though, to me, made the games look even worse. And I think that was a good example right there. I may want to go and replay it through really quick for anyone who may have missed it. I personally think this looks almost too cartoony with the DLSS 5 on, in my opinion. I would love to hear your thoughts.
Honestly, I thought it looked better in Starfield. That's just because I think Starfield looked terrible to begin with, to tell
That
you
is,
the truth.
yeah, it was a little shoddy, let's be honest.
So it was like it doesn't take much to really make Starfield look better, but
Mm-hmm.
it is a little overdone.
Mm-hmm. So,
It literally does like change the art style completely, but I do like the way like her jacket actually looks.
mm-hmm.
Like
So,
a little bit of like a I don't know, the material looks a little bit better.
So I'm going to go and use this as a quick segue, because this I think is like the perfect time for it, because I do believe Bethesda also did respond to this all. So some people on Twitter over here, like this is from this Luke Stevens guy, it says, the backpedaling begins. The simple fact of the matter is that BGS signed off on this. They were excited by it. And Todd, the good old big head honcho himself, even went so far as to go on camera saying that this is a breath of life into Starfield. And this is Bethesda stating, I appreciate your excitement and analysis on the new DLSS 5 lighting here. And I think that's something I think Cam also noticed too as well, and I saw that on that video. So kind of like defending this a little bit. Like we're going to be harsh on Digital Foundry and obviously the AI technology, but I think it's also good to have an objective viewpoint on it all. This is a very early look, and our art teams will be further adjusting the lighting and the final effect to look the way we think works best for each game. And this will be under all the artist's control. So it kind of says for them out there, like, hey, we're going to let people let our artists cook. We can adjust the lighting and such. But do you think that is enough, Cam? Do you think that this is enough? Like, do you think it's enough hands-on? Do you think having at least like some changes, this will take away a lot of the AI criticisms in the games? Or I guess the big picture that people don't like generative AI. Like, do you think that alone is enough?
When it comes to Bethesda, I guess because like the standard is so low for them when it comes to their graphics in their games and stuff. Like they seem like the perfect candidates for this kind of technology, and that's what kind of scares me.
I agree.
Is that like it literally reduces the time that they have to spend on making the graphics actually look better when they're fully rendered. So they can just throw a fake coat of paint on top of everything.
And that's something I'm concerned about too, because we do see that a lot in AAA games right now. Resident Evil is a hard one because stylistically, I think it was one of the best looking games ever. But I think I agree on your take when it comes to some games like Starfield, or more so a lot of Xbox games. Think Redfall. Think all these like games that were horrible, Avowed, etc. Like those games, if you give them the permission to go and push more into AI slop, etc., it's going to turn into AI slop. Without a doubt. I think it's all depending on the corporations, but as you know, in the gaming sphere, people are trying to cut back cost. All these AAA games are costing hundreds of millions of dollars. Games are instantly flopping. Live service is hard. And I got one to maybe elaborate on your thoughts on this. Do you think this could potentially also be really bad for the gaming sphere?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like you're going to see a lot of similar. Well, we don't know that for sure. Like every
There's
company
potential.
could have their own algorithm or whatever what they want it to look like. But like there is potential that all games will start looking similar, like how people have been complaining how every game in Unreal Engine 5 looks the same, right? Because there's not a lot of creative freedom when it comes to how they can optimize their engine. But yeah, it would not surprise me if we start seeing like like them cutting back on artists, right? So because they don't need someone to finish the models for them,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
And I think that was a big issue too, even with like Clear Obscure, like, you know, Game of the Year, and people were like, hey, you guys were using generative AI for creative processes, prompts, etc. And even for anyone who's just maybe watching my own screen over here, like I'm looking through this on these games, and I really do not think the DLSS 5, it has almost like a weird AI slot filter. And kind of what he said when it came to Unreal Engine, I don't want every face to look the same. I don't want every hair follicle to look the same. I don't want the environments to have this weird AI blended vibe to it. And if you guys have ever seen like anime or stuff generated through AI or like ChatGPT, it all has this like weird yellow orange hue, and it just looks strange, and faces always look very similar. It does get kind of bad. Like it's the same exact example. If everyone is utilizing this DLSS 5, the games might start looking similar through AI technology kind of blending together. Or as well, it's just, there's 3 different directions I can go with this, but there is potential for bad. Hopefully good. Like I think right now they utilize the same assets that they made and try to make it better. So there is a chance it's cool. There's a chance it's fine, but nonetheless, it can kind of go either way. So
I mean, like the way I see it actually being like a useful use would be ambient occlusion, which is like adding depth underneath like smaller objects on the shelves and stuff, and like underneath windowsills and stuff like that. You can actually like add filters to your own older games with SSAO through like I think the Nvidia app. I'm pretty sure. But like that's where I think it would be more useful as opposed to global illumination, which is like why you're seeing that big blooming light color that looks artificial, you know.
See, it was interesting. I was talking to one of my good artist friends who's like, you know, done like 3D arts and has even made games, like a very nice guy. And he kind of had a somewhat similar thought as you, where he didn't mind too much on environments. And I think I stand by that to an extent. Like I don't really necessarily mind, like say for ray tracing, shadows, lighting effects, to make the environment look a little bit nicer. And sometimes as well, like you don't really always need to have custom made trees, custom made flowers, if you will. So, and that does go and cut down development time. I'm kind of okay with that. Like say this wall or these roads on what we're watching right now, I don't really necessarily care that much. Bricks on a, you know, holding down stuff, trees, whatever. I do like unique stuff. You don't always need that. And it kind of seemed like he was also saying faces matter a lot. Faces and individual like things that are very integral to the story. So think like, say like you're about to go in like a nice house, a castle, or if you will, like Resident Evil. Like you want to make sure that is beautiful and well made with hard-earned assets, but do you really care that much about the rocks, the gravel, the flowers, the trees on the ground walking up to it? I would probably say no. Like if that could cut back dev time and save money and get more games out faster, as long as it's not overly used, overly slopped, I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah, like smaller things like tiles on the floor that would otherwise look flat, you know?
Yes.
Or bricks on a wall that would otherwise look flat. You can actually add depth to them using AI instead of whatever current techniques that don't necessarily look as good.
I agree.
You know, if it
on
can
this,
look
yes.
better, of course, yeah.
I would agree on this.
But also, I want to bring this up too, is of course that you can always turn this off if you don't want to actually use it.
And I think that's actually something that some people aren't really noting a lot. You could also do the same thing for the PSSR as well. Like they also did on-off filters. I think that does kind of save Nvidia. Like we're not anti-Nvidia, we're not anti-Digital Foundry, but there is concerns, and that's the fun of making videos, is you can bring up these comments and you can hear what people have to say, or you guys can hear our thoughts and formulate your own opinions. That is a good thing that they are kind of like, hey, you don't need to use this. You don't always need to. But I think it's kind of one of those weird things. There actually even was a tweet, and I want to highlight this, is that they were bringing up the idea that it's almost a quote-unquote forced, because it's Nvidia. You know, it's like this company, if you want your games to be using this, and I'm going to show this tweet on my screen right here, saying, what utter cope? It's optional, so it's up to the devs to utilize. And I kind of want like, more so for your own devil's advocate and your point to kind of, I don't know, give your thoughts. I'm curious. They say it's optional, so it's up to the devs to go and utilize or implement, or yourself as a user turn on and off. You mean to say the same AAA devs that have been using the optional DLSS 4 to try and excuse away poor performance? Or the same AAA devs that keep trying to lean on ray tracing, which is optional, quote unquote, to brute force their lighting? The same AAA devs that optionality use Unreal Engine 5 because it's convenient, but has shown poor optimization across the board. Those devs, those guys, they're probably chomping at the bit right now to use this to make their work, quote unquote, easier. Now, this is a little bit of a spring on for you, so I'm going to kind of give my quick thoughts too as well to let you kind of think on it. But I think this stemmed a lot towards what you were saying. Or that's what we both were saying. If developers are lazy and they take the easy way out, think like an Avowed or Redfall game, that will probably turn the games into slop. And I think most people usually utilize that and realize that pretty quick. If the game has this lackluster, soulless, if you will, we'll probably realize that. But at the same time, do you kind of think that Nvidia is going to force this into people? Do you think this is going to become an industry standard, kind of like Unreal Engine? We'd love to hear your breakdown on that.
Okay, so I already know how this is going to really actually play out. It's not that Nvidia is going to be forcing like developers to actually implement this. It's going to be more or less like they're going to believe that they should, because they're going to want to have marketing deals with Nvidia. They're going to want to have their game featured on their like driver update list or whatever. You know, a lot of these games like need marketing deals, and so if they want to work with Nvidia, you know, the biggest company in the world, of course they're going to try to force DLSS 5 in their game just to get into marketing. I mean, like even these games they're showing us here, obviously they want to be up with these guys, right? Like that's a really big deal. They were shown at GTC today, which is like a huge conference, you know. So I think it's gonna be more like they're gonna feel pressured to. It's not that Nvidia is gonna be saying you have to do this and crack the whip, you know. It's just gonna be like a natural falling in place of things. I mean, like you can't even find a game like these days that's only AMD FSR. I mean, there is a few, of course, or XESS from Intel or whatever. But yeah, people want to have this in their game so they can have the marketing.
I think I would agree on all this. And I think it also stems into, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. I think it also stems from the whole general idea of AI as well, where as much as people may be skeptical on AI, I think AI is the future no matter what. It's going to happen in some way, shape, and form. AI will be affecting your life in hopefully a positive manner. So do you kind of think that maybe for like the big picture of this all, I know you're reaching up, but do you think for like the big picture of this all, this might be the hot take of the video too, do you think that gamers are maybe too apprehensive on AI as a whole?
It's been in your video games as long as you've been alive.
I would agree.
To some extent. To some extent. I mean, we've
been calling it AIs forever, dude. Like AIs is like, you know, for games back in like the GameCube where you're trying to go play like 007s. You know what I mean? Like in theory, they have been there for a long time.
I'm overgeneralizing, of course. Like, it has become like a bigger issue since like the introduction of ChatGPT and whatever, of course, because there's servers and everyone's talking about how it's like using energy and clean water. I understand all of that. What I'm a little confused about myself, just because I'm not making a criticism here of other people. I'm just a little confused about this, more or less. Like, what is like something running locally on your GPU have to do with a server side AI model? I mean, I understand the training is probably done on a bigger computer somewhere, but I think we need to separate the two and then focus here on artist integrity when it comes to gaming more than anything.
And that's the perfect segue for this next one, because we kind of touched on it before, but it's also for this one as well. Now, you made a comment specifically, you made two. I want everyone who's watching this video to highlight these. Number one, he mentioned the idea of like an artist integrity, and I think I stand by that. I know a lot of artists. If you guys are familiar with me, I want to try to become like a VTuber. My Twitch, I guess, expertise, if you will, fall down below. And also definitely follow Cam too as well. All these links are down below. But when it comes to this stuff, art is a big deal, and that's why I think people do not like the idea of generative AI, and why there's been so much pushback in this whole Digital Foundry thing. We'll get to that point next after this. But as Cam also mentioned, some of these game companies want to be up there with the big boys when it comes to Nvidia, when it comes to just maybe PlayStation marketing, or at least making your game look as best as it possibly can. Right now, people are saying Resident Evil Requiem is the best looking PS5 Pro game we've ever seen. And so far, I would agree, the game looks amazing. And this is where there's two separate things here. As you guys can see on the screen, number one is people are shaming these studios, supporting this slop. So in regards to this brand new DLSS 5, this AI imaging, and that's also why a lot of people are calling out Digital Foundry. More so for them, we'll get to that in a second, but because they're kind of shilling for it, undisclosed potential partnerships, like having issues with critique. Like there'll be a quicker portion for a video, but we want to talk about the real stuff first. That's just for the drama people out there. But as you guys can see on this tweet, they're saying DLSS 5 will be supported by the industry's biggest publishers and game developers. And we even showed you guys like Bethesda, we showed you guys all the other games as well, saying including Bethesda, Capcom, Hoda Studio, NetEase, NCSoft, S-Game, Tencent knows a lot of games, Ubisoft, and Warner Brothers Games. And that also led into two separate parts. So whatever one interests you more, take away. Where I also had tweets now where Capcom was inviting Grace's face model. And as you guys have seen us breaking down the whole facial part of it all, and that was a big critique. It doesn't look like her. It looks maybe better, maybe worse, depending on the person. But the actual model herself was invited to this event to support the tech that basically completely changes her likeness into something ridiculous. They're saying it's bold, it's like almost a slap in the face. And this goes hand in hand with people utilizing AI to like take away voice actors' rights and take away like everything that people work towards, like all the creative direction, like artists, people making 3D models, etc. So there's two parts of this, and I want you to go take away whichever one you want. Over here.
Hold on a second.
Okay, that's fine. No, you're okay.
I gotta move the screen over so I can actually look at it in a bigger screen.
Oh, sorry. If you guys don't know, by the way, if you're ever curious on these videos work, I'm streaming my like screen to him in real time, so that's why I'm kind of flopping things around and showcasing up different things, so you guys can actually go and see it. Although we did go lose you on the cam.
Okay. Wait, what happened?
I have
the camera turned off?
Yeah, we lost the camera.
Oh my god.
That's okay. I can use I can take the filler talk over here. I'll give my thoughts as you can try to go mess around with it. If not, no worries. So as I kind of showed you guys or presented it all, there was two separate issues here, and I'm going to maybe take a little bit on the route of the people involved, because I think that's kind of stems a bit more from me. Right now, people are very against this. Number one, on the idea of Digital Foundry kind of promoting it so happily. On the video itself, and maybe like we'll show a little bit and piece of it, they were basically saying, hey, this is some of the best technology we've ever seen. This is beautiful. Welcome back. And they're like, this is some next level stuff. And that led to a lot of community outrage for this. Like many of these different tweets over here are saying, hey, I'd rather not. It's disheartening seeing Digital Foundry outright praising this DLSS 5's AI slop filter, particularly in regards to Resident Evil 5. And that kind of stems to what people are seeing these creative directions where they loved how the game looked, or seeing these actors where they're completely not even the same person. And a lot of people are being like, hey, this is kind of rough. They're saying Digital Foundry has these biased reviews, not showing Stellar Blade. Now outright just praising AI slop. This is a momentum fall off of an insane caliber. You know, they're saying like, I don't really think they want to be critical of the companies they interview and showcase. They basically just had a good point about this all. They've always been chills, never cared for their videos either. It's a shame that it took people this long and for this to happen to finally realize this. I think this is the case, the final nail in the coffin. They've been chills for Nvidia for quite some time, but this is the most blatant I've ever seen from them all. And some people are saying it does look better, like how we even kind of maybe thought a little bit, but it was better in a weird way. Better in a strange way where we're not really sure if it's going a good direction, it's losing the soul of games. Like we're kind of critiquing on both directions over here. Saying it doesn't even look like Grace. She looks like one of those AI-generated fixed her tweets that the culture war grifters love to make all the time. And I think me and you were both thinking that. Looking through these filters and all this stuff, or as well what we showed you over here for the character, they literally have a real-life woman that is a reference. And it does not look like the real-life woman anymore. So like I said, there's a little bit few topics. Whatever you think sounds interesting to take away from, love to hear your thoughts.
So I'm a little mixed on the whole like the actress's face matching or looking different than the model's face. I'm a little mixed on that because a lot of games they'll take creative liberty with what their faces look like. I mean, we have situations where we have Nate Drake, who literally looks almost identical to what's his name, the voice actor. I can't remember his name. But then we have I don't remember his name. I know who he is. I say his name all the freaking time. I love him. But I can't remember his name right now. But whatever. Moving on.
Tom Holland?
So,
okay.
No, not Tom Holland. That's the actor from the movie. The voice actor's a different person, but he is also in the movie. Oh, so that's a spoiler. Oh,
spoiler. Yeah, spoiler.
It's not even a good movie. Never mind. It doesn't matter. I'm glad I spoiled it.
The one guy who loves that movie just literally hates you now. You're gonna get a hate tweet. Okay, sorry.
I don't care. Hate all you want. Hate all you want. It's a bad film. And then we have like Aloy looks nothing like her voice actress. So it really comes down to the creative freedom of the artist and what they are actually looking to model their model after. You know, it doesn't have to look like the voice actress.
I would agree on this, and I do think there, like my quick segue in this one, I think there are a few people who are a little extra apprehensive on AI. I'm mostly against generative AI. And I think it's very right to be skeptical on this all. But at the same time, I have been seeing a lot of people that are very gung-ho on it and very against it, where I'm more on the, I think we should stand against it and have certain, like, I guess, like, what's the word for it? Maybe boundaries, if you will, like a certain, like, you can't go too far with it.
Luke, would you say a digital boundary?
Could you say that was the world's worst joke I think I've ever heard in my entire life? I hate you so much, dude. I gotta be like, yeah, we're about to found a new horrible joke for that one over there. Was that bad? That was too bad.
I mean, maybe we should coin it after the video we're gonna discuss. Honestly,
yeah, we'll give you to the bad joke foundry over here. There you go. There's my joke.
But like, I know what you're saying. Like, this is a little too far when it comes to like changing just in general. It's not even about it looking different from the voice actress. It's just about it just does not look right.
Yes, period. It looks uncanny, and it looks like it's forcing this AI technology that takes away too much of the creative liberties.
Yeah,
I would agree on that. So I think we kind of covered up, I think, the big high level of this all, and now I want to get into more of this. I guess actually one more quick thing on this before we get more on the proper gossip. Because we're seeing tweets over here that a lot of people online are like, this DLSS5 AI dog is actually depressing, man. Even worse is the whole generation is growing up on who won't even know that this even looks bad or wrong because they're so normalized to it. Like you're someone who's maybe 10 years old, you're seeing games for the first time, your first console, this is all normalized. And as well, actually this is a good segue too before we get in the drama. It says, important to note that this technology advanced game developers have full, detailed artistic control over the DLSS5's effect to ensure they maintain their game's unique aesthetic. This SDK includes things like intensity, color grading, and masking off places where the effects shouldn't be applied. It's not a filter, quote unquote, but this is after all the feedback and hate that it was receiving. It's not a filter that DLSS5 inputs the game's color and motion vectors for each frame to the model, anchoring the output into the source 3D content. So nonetheless, I'm kind of only showcasing that so you guys can see what Nvidia has to say, but a lot of people are against it, pushing back. They want to push back against this too, and just a lot of people don't like it. You know, a lot of people are saying, like, just making jokes overall too as well. So some people are saying maybe you're a little bit overly negative, your viewpoint's a little too hardcore, and some people are saying it's nice, but people are also literally begging for alternatives for Nvidia, which is probably just AMD at this point, or even consoles as well. So a lot of people are kind of sad. A lot of people are just rough. Although it does kind of seem like it would be nice over time that it should go get a little bit better. And obviously a lot of people are making these jokes and memes, showcasing like all these pictures of like Leon, to the point where they even had some of the people over here in Digital Foundry making memes, showing them as the future and saying back everything like looks nicer. Like you guys are seeing these memes from all the Digital Foundry members. So now you guys are kind of seeing some of this stuff where people are like, hey, this is just losing the artistic integrity. It's not looking the same. Is that real? This is, I do believe, look at this.
There's no way that's real.
This is like the interpretation, I think, of what they'd want to be using for the AI side.
Okay, because it looks nothing like Harrison Ford at all. At all.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is what people are kind of saying. It's like, you have this original model, the kind of what we're using the Resident Evil reference for. But like, yeah, it might look better. In theory, quote unquote. Really, yeah, but I was going to say, it doesn't, to me, this doesn't look nicer. I actually think the original does look better on the left versus what it would be as an input from AI. So
yeah, but it does actually look like what they kind of did to what's her name from Resident Evil, though.
And this is why I try to go and like kind of segue from one to one so people can kind of build up on it. Because like, yeah, it does look better, but it doesn't look what the end result should be, if that logic makes sense, that working looks sense. So yeah, a lot of people are just like being like, this is what the future is going to be. Now that was more of a meme example, and we're seeing a lot of these meme examples overall, but one, I guess, like kind of last one over here is saying, I'd rather go back to PS1 low poly graphics than have a future of AI slop graphics. And I'll actually double down and say I'd rather go back to 2003 tier computers that have a future of LLMs being omnipresent in society and people believing that they are some kind of oracle, but that's not really feasible at this point. Now we did touch on that a little bit, first the difference on local computing versus like database, etc. But I just want to show you guys that online, there's just a lot of people that are very, very, very against this. Now, this is where we get a little bit more into the drama territory. Now, this whole entire thing was gaming drama, but this is like the YouTube drama, if you will. So right now, because of this all, like a lot of just anti-AI pushback, the integrity of games, artists, everything. Like there's a lot when it comes to this stuff. People are blaming Digital Foundry. Right now, the video has a bunch of dislikes, millions of tweets. This has been trending everywhere, and people nonstop have been discussing this and talking about this, where they are done. People are saying that they're shills. They're saying that they're gross. They're saying that it's a massive disappointment. And just a lot of people are losing their credibility right now. A lot of people are saying this is gross, this is not good, that they never had integrity in the first place. And I know it's somewhat weird to maybe put you on the spot for this one. It's a convoluted situation. And any of our takes or hot takes are obviously just for entertainment. Like, we don't hate these guys. If we saw them at an event, we'd have a beer with them. Like, it's not the biggest deal at the end of the day. But do you think this is all valid critiques of Digital Foundry? I'll give my thoughts as well in a second. Or do you kind of think this was overblown, or kind of a mixture of the two?
Well, obviously it's a mixture of the two, but Digital Foundry has one of the biggest voices when it comes to technology in today's gaming space. So of course, whatever they say is going to be like seen by everyone. You know, if you're tapped in. Of course, like your casual like 2K fanboy friend is not gonna know about them, but like I think everything they say is no, it's not taken with a grain of salt. You know, it's like the real deal. Like whatever they say is typically preached around like gospel. I mean, it's been used for like console fanboy propaganda for a decade, pretty much.
And if you guys are active regulars on my channel, I called out Digital Foundry. I don't mind standing by it, because this is more of like, I can stand by my opinion, my takes, and it's just an opinion. Like, I don't hate the guys. I think neither one of us do. But I would agree on Cam. Like, these people are technical-based YouTubers, and I do appreciate their specs and their hard work into it. But it seems like when it comes to overall, like, I guess the general idea, like the generality of gaming, they're not good at it. No offense to Digital Foundry, I'll say it how it is. They are not good at how they marketed this. Right now, we're also seeing people, we'll cover that in a second, complaining in the Digital Foundry like team, complaining about how people are holding them accountable and calling them out or having an anti-AI stance. And I think a lot of it stems because this video is literally in the Nvidia offices, and that is most likely a sponsored video. Now, this kind of goes into a separate segue, and maybe some people don't care about this, but for me, who's a creator and a little bit of a journalist, if you will, and I think even Cam would also vouch, because he's also done hard work and research into his videos for spending hours trying to go and compare different handheld devices, similar to what they do for the PS5, Xbox, and PS5 Pro, where there is a journalistic integrity where you cannot always be completely biased. And a lot of people are saying this is biasly this best, great, this thing we've ever seen. And people are holding them accountable. And as well, they're in the Nvidia offices, which they never disclose, but I've had my friends and my own self who've been into gaming events and have worked with various companies, tech companies as well, who have flown me out. They paid for everything, and that is technically a sponsor. They're giving you products, and they're like, well, talk about it. Same thing too as well with the Crimson Desert video we covered on our own channel, is that they were literally given a PS5 Pro with the game itself in it. Now, even if it's only a loaner, that is still receiving product for you to go have a video that will most likely also have a bias towards it, so it's a sponsored thing. And a lot of people are also saying in terms of pure journalistic integrity, it's very, very wrong. And they're just not fully disclosing it. And that's why I think so many people are hating on them, because it's just them saying, we don't care about gamers, we don't care about this. And I would probably say a lot of gamers are mostly anti-generative AI. So I did kind of cut you out there a little bit to kind of throw in my own thoughts, but I am a little bit disappointed. I hold them to a high standard, and as you said, many people kind of take them as the gospel. So if you have that kind of respect from the overall community, say even like a Gamer Nexus or other various bigger content creators, you need to go and respect that. You need to go and make sure you care about your audience. And it seems like they're kind of basically slapping their audience in the face to have an opportunity to go promote out Nvidia, get some views, and go from there. Now, I said a lot, but feel free to take away what you want.
I mean, this is with a lot of creators, of course, but of course we're discussing Digital Foundry today. Like they're the big dogs when it comes to this kind of stuff. So of course they need to be held to a different standard.
Yes,
but they obviously want to be in good graces with Nvidia. I mean, who wouldn't want to be? They're the biggest company in the entire planet, right? They want to get their GPUs early whenever they launch their next GPUs. They want to get their hands on their new technology first whenever they have that, or they want to be flown out to events like this for exclusive videos, you know, like that only Digital Foundry got access to. I don't think any other press got access to this demo.
Same with a lot of the PS5 Pro stuff too as well. Like they've gotten a lot of hands-on stuff. Yes.
So I'm sitting here like, why only Digital Foundry got
I'd agree
access
on
to this?
that.
Why no other press? Why
Yes.
didn't even IGN get access to this? Is
Mm-hmm.
it because Digital Foundry typically has a bias towards
Mm-hmm.
Nvidia?
Mm-hmm.
Like these are the questions that people need to be asking.
And it
And if
seems
you
like a
look
lot of
back at
people
their
are.
history, I mean, they always talk about, Nvidia, like, but they don't really talk the same way about AMD or Intel. Like, yeah, they'll say like Intel is like a good budget option or whatever, but they will never like glaze XESS or anything like that to the point that they do Nvidia. Um, it's clearly Nvidia recognizes them as a good partner for marketing. So really, this was just a big marketing thing that they decided that they wanted to have someone who would sit there and not overly criticize them, which is
Mm-hmm.
exactly what Jensen loves. I mean, they even do this with their charts and stuff. Whenever they launch new GPUs, they're like the RTX. One of the most recent one was like the RTX 5070 or 60 or something like that. I remember it was like on the same level as the RTX 4090 or something like that. But then they don't. Oh, there goes my camera. I don't know what's going on with that. It's something with Discord. But like, let me just continue anyways.
Yeah, you're fine.
They literally use the chart to mislead people by saying that it's the same level as the RTX 4090 or whatever, but it ended up being like AI compute or something like that, some weird like statistic. And then it would throw like what was it, like 8 GB of RAM in there or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but like I remember that Nvidia likes to mislead people with their marketing, and Digital Foundry was the perfect opportunity to do that because they
Mm-hmm.
recognize something in them.
Mm-hmm. And I think to chime on that for two things. Number one, me and Cam have both been long-term Nvidia holders, and we also both hold AI stock. So we're not against the idea of Nvidia. We like Nvidia. I have a Nvidia GPU, and so does he. But there is a lot of integrity when it comes to this. And if there's a bias in what you're making, that will always show. Now, I do have my own bias, I think everyone does, but this gets a little bit more scary because this is pushing and almost forcing the idea of like AI generative gaming, which has been a very big pushback for a very long time. And it's kind of like, let's say you have a Mr. Beast and he goes and supports a really bad update for YouTube, or say for Twitch streamers, say for whatever it might be. And if you're the head honcho, you're known as like the tech guys out there, and you're glazing this and talking about how great this is, you're getting flown out to Nvidia, and you see the entire internet calling you out and saying, hey, this is potentially a bad thing. We have to take a step back over here. But all you're doing is sitting there and not holding them accountable or calling things out. That's bad. In my own time and too as well, because I made the videos on this on my channel, is I will mention the Crimson Desert thing again. Crimson Desert there was a huge massive bias in their video, to the point where I made a secondary video calling out their biasness from Digital Foundry. And it seems like a lot of people are waking up on how more so, I don't want to say corrupt, but just very lazy, or more so very, I guess, biased is probably the best word for it, this content is. Because when they had the Crimson Desert as a reviewer, they never really highlighted too much that they were not getting the baseline PS5. They were not even talking about the Xbox Series S that was not getting any attention. And if you're wanting to go and sell me a console game, I want to know everything. If this is your bread and butter for Digital Foundry to go and compare the PS5, Xbox Series X, S, I want to know everything. And they were basically just sitting there glazing the PS5 Pro when there's glaring issues, and I'm sure there's a lot more that they never showed. It was a very, very biased video, at least in my opinion. Many people in the PlayStation community called that out. On Reddit, on Twitter, my own video itself. But now the global internet, the PC users who are usually more upsetable, they have very high standards for PC gaming, they're once again calling out this entire company saying you are way too biased, you are glazing them too hard, and it seems like it might be an undisclosed ad. There's a lot for me to break on down, but I would love to hear like maybe a final thought on that one. And we have one last drama thing too, because it seems like people are also like people involved in the Digital Foundry community or someone kind of hold them even accountable on Blue Sky, where they try to go run away. But first and foremost, finish up this final thought, I guess, on the critiques and comments on Digital Foundry.
So I will say one thing about them, like it's kind of fair in a way that they would glaze this if they were sitting in the Nvidia headquarters or whatever, because I get the same kind of I get the same kind of feeling whenever I go to like CES or something like that, and I'm sitting in the booth with Asus or whatever, and I'm looking at their product and like this stuff is great or whatever, but then I get home and like actually there's this and that I didn't actually like about X product.
You almost put on the spot, if you will. So I want to say I am holding them accountable, but I do understand too as well. Same with the other points that Cam was making, that the idea of like you kind of want to be on Nvidia's good side. I'd probably be doing the same stuff there. I got to be honest, but I can critique them for it because I'm not in that same position that they are. But yeah, go on. Sorry.
But yeah, the video, like, it's just a little too much. Like, I'm pretty sure Richard says at the end of the video, like, they haven't seen a demo this impressive in a very long time. Like, okay. And then I sit here and I'm looking at this, like, how do you not, like, even take a look at, like, does this look right in certain aspects? Like, where, like, you don't even say, like, well, it doesn't look, it looks a little weird, but it over time that will probably get ironed out. You could say something like that. Just make a minor criticism. Anything.
Yes. And they had nothing
just to satisfy that itch. Nothing.
And that's why I think a lot of people are calling out the journalistic integrity, because we'll waive a GPU, we'll waive early access, we'll fly you on out and wine and dine you a little bit that Jens is known to do. And then you'll give us this amazing glorifying videos thinking how beautiful it is. So it's up to like the viewers and people in the gaming sphere to hold them accountable. And that's not how it should be. A proper journalist and a proper more organization, if you will, if you're not on your knees over here for Nvidia, you would be able to go and say even nice and tasteful critiques like Cam said. Like, hey, yeah, maybe I don't necessarily like the idea that many games will look the same. Maybe I don't like the idea that it looks a little bit too realistic. What about the idea of it overly taking away the artistic integrity of what we've discussed? What about jobs? What about everything? There's a lot of critiques you can have that you can even weasel on in, no problem, and people probably want to hold you that accountable. Like, Nvidia would probably be like, yeah, that's fine, we get it. So I think that's why a lot of people are overly critiquing this too, and I kind of have to somewhat agree. I'm a little bit on the anti-Digital Foundry for this entire big drama. As Cam once again on the saga of him trying to fix his camera, but that's okay because at least he's trying.
It's overheating. I don't know how, but it's overheating.
You want to what? It's like a side drama, so I'm okay with it. Next time you fix your camera, do you want to show off your tattoo? He also got a cool tattoo if you guys want to see it.
Sure, if I can actually get it to stop overheating. This has never happened before, ever.
You know what? That's totally fine. That's the fun of making videos, I feel. So that's something my kind of final thoughts. As you're fixing that, I'm going to go and play out the video. We have one last segment in terms of the last gossip over here for Digital Foundry, but this is the quote that Cam was mentioning at the tail end of the video, where it's very biased.
To that game's cel-shaded visual style, would it actually produce an interesting result? Obviously, with Minecraft, that's something you can kind of get away with, but perhaps there are games where it would be less appropriate, and presumably developers would be not enabling it for those titles.
Yeah, plenty of questions still remain, but the impact of this technology, I don't think I've seen a demo quite as astonishing as this for quite some time. But I think that's all we've got to say about this right now, because we want to do a much bigger video based on everything we saw. We spent several hours looking at these demos and talking with the actual people who created the technology, which was a bit of a thrill for me.
Yeah, it was really exciting.
So yeah, look forward to more from Digital Foundry, but that's all.
And that's all he said. It's just like, oh, it's just a joy. We can't wait to make more videos. This is the most impressive tech I've ever seen. And as Cam even mentioned, this is why I, as like a person, I've been calling out Digital Foundry, because this one guy I'm showing you guys right here, and this is like, probably I should have said this at some point throughout the video. No offense. I'll put my own like thoughts on the line. This guy's an idiot. This guy right here on the screen, which I do believe might be the founder of CEO. This is not what Cam has to say at all, by the way. Completely, he does not agree with this. But I'm speaking on my own behalf on my own channel. This guy made a huge article, and I made a video on it. You can look on my channel. I even made a tweet responding to it, discussing the impacts of how AI in the future might go and affect into games, etc. This guy knows nothing. This guy is the most borderline face level old boomer dude who has no idea about gaming besides what his employees are working on. And I think that's the hot take of this video, which is why I waited so deep to go talk about it. Because this guy was talking about the fact of, well, we don't really know if the PlayStation 6 is going to utilize stuff like the PSSR. Maybe, let's hope so. And maybe the only chime in I want to hear from you, Cam, would you go and say, I would say 100% certainty that the PSSR technology in some way, shape, and form will be utilized or at least like dissected for the PS6. Would you agree, yes or no?
Yeah, I think it will.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, this dude's like, we don't really know what's going to go on. Most people who have any like faction of an idea would be like, yeah, that's probably pretty likely, because why else would they spend this money, time, and effort on the PSSR 2.0 to not utilize it for future iterations of the console? And that was once again why I think people are getting upset, because these guys got early access on the PSSR 2.0, and this dude doesn't even know what he's even talking about. Like, it's crazy. So nonetheless, there's a lot of critiques for Digital Foundry. Are we being a little bit overly hypercritical? Yes, for the sake of the content of the video, but nonetheless, this is what the online sphere is saying. And maybe we're almost being too nice because we come with the perspective of a content creator. So to kind of wind down this drama too, because I'm gonna cause a little beef over here, but we saw some tweets over here too from another creator over here, John Lyman, who's also part of the Digital Lemon, who's also a part of the Digital Foundry. And this is where I think a lot of people are also critiquing them all, because they're just not holding themselves accountable. People online, this has been trending. There's millions of tweets on Blue Sky, etc. And people are like calling them out. They're like, hey, there's very valid critiques on biased, undisclosed sponsors, or as well just, we don't really like what you have to say. We don't agree with your thoughts on AI or how this DLSS 5 is working. And it's a little bit embarrassing because it doesn't seem like the Digital Foundry people are growing from this or taking accountability on their thoughts. There's been a lot of really mean comments as well, and it seems like they're trying to make them seem like this massive victim. I don't think anyone's really harassing them. I don't think anyone's really calling them out, being like, you are the world's worst people known to man, but people are holding them out accountable for their biasness or saying that you really need to go and have a broader scale if you're this big tech YouTuber content too as well. And I'm not really a big fan of this because a lot of people are like, it's okay to take criticism. A lot of people are hating these guys for sure, that's too far, but it just is a little bit too much. But even people on Blue Sky are saying, yeah, a lot of people are upset at Digital Foundry for shilling for it, because it's bad. And some people, that everyone over there was okay with it. Apparently some like John didn't know and don't approve of it. Now this is just through like the biasness of, not biasness, like just, from people yapping over there. So if the guy was not involved in the video, he should not be getting hate for the video. Like end all be all, it's not his direction, it's not his call. If the CEO himself was like, hey, we're gonna do this no matter what, we're working Nvidia, that's fine. So I don't want this dude getting hate for no reason, and especially if he had nothing to do with it. But there was also a lot of people that are saying you should maybe even leave Digital Foundry. People are saying, hey, like, these people are maybe not the smartest people. This is opening up this Pandora's box that Digital Foundry is not the best. And of course, there's also even other outside content people basically like showing off these tweets over here saying, dude, I didn't have any control over this one. I was blindsided by it. And just know nobody's angry at you for this, man. People are just surprised that Digital Foundry of all sites is praising this. People love the content you do. And saying, yeah, they are. The messages I'm seeing are horrendous. I hate this. I hate AI. And I hate that people turn people into this. So the final thoughts for you, Cam, on this one. Even John himself is saying he did not approve of the glazing, did not like the content, did not like how Digital Foundry completely blindsided him, and he has a very anti-AI stance like a lot of people in the gaming sphere. What is your, I guess, final closing thoughts of this entire video? Because there is a lot, and it does seem like Digital Foundry is kind of in the wrong and has a lot of critique to kind of answer for. And it seems like they're not taking it serious, and I think that opens up even another Pandora's box where if you don't take accountability, especially as gamers and content creators, it can lead towards a very bad path. So I'd love to hear, I guess, high level. It doesn't even have to be about the drama too if you don't want to touch on that. Let me know your final thoughts on the video itself.
So yeah, I don't think that you really should be harassing like John for any of this. He's
Not agree.
nothing to do with it. Just like what everyone was saying. But yeah, it's not really his decision when whatever they cover. He's not the the CEO of the company, like we were saying before. Like if for example, like the CEO of Coca-Cola does something bad, like someone who works in sales shouldn't be blamed for that.
Mm-hmm.
He has to do what he has to do. He's a cog in the wheel, as they say. Or cog in the machine. But yeah, it's a little the hate for specific people that work there is a little over the top, but I do think that they deserve all the hate they're getting on the video, of course, because it really is really bad.
Yes, it was too much blazing, too much AI. People are still sensitive on AI. There's job loss potential. Like we've seen so many layoffs even in the video game sphere too, and I feel like Digital Foundry does not feel like they're a part of the gaming sphere. That's how I feel. Truly.
Yeah, it seems like they're literally selling out. It's like a grift almost. It feels like.
And I even made this comment on some of my videos, is that even for the PS5 Pro, I've covered so many of those videos, and one big issue was shimmering. That was like, the blending pixel effects of the PSSR, and even Digital Foundry was trying to go be against the grain, and they weren't even calling it shimmering when that was like the baseline standard name for it for everyone. Like stuff like that just makes me go and show that they are just disillusioned, and they're just the tech guys, and they're trying to expand out of the tech guys, and they don't understand gaming. They don't seem like gamers. They seem like corporate shills, in my opinion. I'm a little bit more wordy on my thoughts, but it's how it comes off to me. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, and the other thing about Digital Foundry is that they over-the-top glaze RTX, like ray tracing. Ray tracing does make a difference in a lot of situations, but like they literally talk about it as if it's like a necessary thing, and it kind of oversells it. So it's helping Nvidia sell their GPUs. I mean, they've always been this way. But I also think that a lot of their analysis is a little over the top as well, even when it comes to console comparison. Oh, there goes the camera again. So, but
It's fine.
God. Of course. But it gets a little ridiculous when they have to count pixels to tell you there's a difference between a version of a game too. Like if we're really gonna go deep dive into what I think is wrong with Digital Foundry, because like there's going to be very little difference between someone who notices like a dynamic 1800p to 4K versus like a native 4K. Like the average consumer isn't going to notice that. But like, of course, they have to take the liberty of saying that this port is the definitive port of the game. You know, it's a little much to say that.
I do agree. I think they're trying a little too hard. They found some success, and this is like the first probably week, I would say, where they had a lot of negative pushback, and it just doesn't seem like they're addressing it well. When your own employees that are pretty well known are saying that this is horrible, that this is disgusting, they don't approve of the AI videos you're making, that is definitely leading towards a very intriguing thought. When your own employees are saying, I don't approve of this at all, and they're getting hate for that, especially when it seems like the widespread gamers are not a fan of what they kind of produced on out, or at least they're at least scared of it all, that I think reflects really poorly on Digital Foundry. Like, truly.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I think that's probably about it, unless you have any final thoughts for this video, but I think we went a pretty big in depth. Like, we tried our best to explain everything, and hopefully you guys take our takes. We did go play things up, at least in mine, a little bit more for the sake of entertainment, but I do kind of stand by some of my critiques of it all. Like, there is a certain journalistic integrity you have to go and have, and it's more so not that I think that, it's more so I held Digital Foundry at a very high regard, and now I'm seeing more of like the biasness and like lacklusterness, and just, I'm disappointed in them. Like, they've actually gone down for me in my respect level. I'd still watch their content, or I'll go glance on some of their, say, review videos and such. I have nothing against them personally, but I do think their ego, and depending on how they even respond to this all, or if they ever do, definitely is going to change a lot of gamers' perspectives on them. And I do think with how we've seen online and social media everywhere, a lot of people are not happy with this, especially with the take of AI too as well. So I guess to kind of finalize the thought, if you have any last things, just chime on in. If not, no worries. But this is a big situation, maybe bigger than we'd expect. I don't really know how many people watched this entire video, but I do really appreciate you if you guys did. If you guys want to give any thoughts, whether you guys agree or disagree down below, would love to hear it all. And yeah, if you guys ever enjoy these types of style videos, and my buddy Cam, who I will have all of his links down below, his Twitter, his YouTube, like I said, he does gaming stuff, he does a lot of reviews, does handheld reviews as well. He wants to kind of branch out a little bit more too, so definitely please drop him a subscribe, or I'll have his Twitter down below. He has some good gaming takes as well, or subscribe myself if you guys enjoyed the video here, or Twitter and Twitch are down below. But if you guys like these longer type style videos, let me know. These are fun to make and fun to yap about. Or if you guys also enjoy having guests on the channel like my buddy Cam, let us know down below. But we'll see how Digital Foundry is going to react to this all. We'll see how the DLSS 5 technology branches on out, and we'll see where gaming as a whole will take gaming in the future. So any final last words, Cam? Or are you all good to go?
Yeah, one thing. I think if AI is used too liberally in the future, it's really going to just ruin gaming as a whole. Not just because of the fact that it will cause a RAM shortage or anything like that, but because it literally will start just making games look ridiculous, and also people who do not deserve to lose their jobs because they're talented will get replaced by generic AI. That's my main fear when it comes to the future of gaming, when what this could introduce. But also one last thing that we didn't even discuss is that this demo was running on two 5090s.
Oh, jeez. I didn't even know that, actually.
So yeah, this is not going to run on your 2080 Ti or your 3080 or your 40.
I believe it actually is only for the 5000 series cards. I may be wrong, but it might only be for those as well.
Yeah, this was definitely supposed to be for the 60 series whenever that was supposed to launch, but that's being delayed because of AI, of course. So yeah, I mean,
this is probably like their special announcement. They're like, yeah. That's not good. Our RAM prices, woof. Oof, and I think that's also why a lot of gamers are upset, because if we're utilizing all this AI technology, there's one last thought, we probably should have brought this up. The idea that also Nvidia wants to probably push a lot more people on Nvidia GeForce Now, utilizing streaming services, and basically not wanting to even own game consoles. So if they can just go utilize their own AI slop and make the games run a lot more easier,